Hey y'all, can y'all hear me? Make a quick video on how I feel like it is very, very important to journal your trades. Sometimes y'all, you won't see stuff until you see it from like a zoomed out point of view or until the trade is over. But when you just taking trades and just in the heat of the moment, realistically, us as humans, we probably won't remember every freaking trade setup that we take. So I feel like it's pretty important to literally journal your trades and make it a priority. Every trade that you take, be like your statements, like your bank statements, how they're reminding you of everything that you paid for and went shopping for in the month of June. You want to do that for trading. Thing that I paid for and spent money for in the market, that's kind of what you want to do too. I just feel like it just makes sense that while you're still like in that trading mode, go ahead, journal your trade, what you took and why, so you will not forget. We honestly just may forget it later. Actually get to see from a bird's eye view, okay, what did I take and why? And if I see this setup again, is it going to give me confidence to take this setup, or more so let the setup pass? Kind of like a lab experiment if you kind of think about it. You have person A that's been trading for, let's just say 2 years. It don't have to be nothing crazy. If you have person A that's been trading for 2 years and you have person B that's been trading for 2 years, and both of them started out with the same amount of money, what they started off with and where they're at now is totally different because of the things that you do in between in your free time and also while you're trading and after you're trading. Person A is profitable and person B is not. How could that be? Because of small things like this. Person A could be journaling their trades every time they encounter a loss. They break that trade down, I'm going to journal it. I'm going to figure out, why did I lose? Because if I figure out why did I lose, I'm getting to the root problem to actually fix the problem. I can avoid it from next time. Person B, let's just say person B loses a trade. What person B does, acts out of emotions. Oh my goodness, I'm so annoyed with trading. They can look at it as a money grab. I'm going to just hurry up and load my account back up in hopes to just hit big one day. That's what turned trading into a gamble. It'd be the smallest little things that you probably would not think about the most that really changes the game for trading. And I feel like journaling your trades is one of them. Along with journaling, I feel like something else that may help is also sticking to one strategy, not strategy hopping. More than likely, it's not the strategy that you're trading. I feel like most strategies do work in the market, but I feel like it is just the entry and the execution times. That's not the cue to change the strategy. Just kind of break down what happened and figure out a better execution time. So grab y'all a little snack. Let's go study. Okay, y'all, so this is an example of my little trading journal that I made. Of course, it's pink and girly and things because that's my favorite color. But this is an example of my trading journal. And I just used a trade, for example. This was a trade from today, and this was on NASDAQ. So basically, this bigger box up here, this was like a higher time frame resistance, right? So price was kind of trading up to that. And in the midst of price trading up to that, as you can see, price ended up breaking these little minor highs over here. I found a nice demand zone. It didn't come too deep in the zone, but the zone did give us a tap. So it did retrace back to the zone, and I went ahead and executed as price was coming up a little bit past the previous candle body. And I still validate trades like this because it shows rejection from the zone. So obviously, if it's rejecting from my stop loss, it must want to go to my take profit target. So I went ahead and entered and took it up for a 1 to 2. And I also used my most recent low for where my stop loss should go. This was the original zone that I was waiting for, but I didn't really like how we had to break all of these lows to get there. So I waited for the next possible setup, and it gave it to me right after. So a few takeaways from this trade. This is something that I rarely do, which is like getting in as the trade is kind of passing the most recent candle body before. It is a little bit aggressive. Like I said, it is like break of the candle. It's like in the middle of conservative and aggressive. I have the time, and you guys can honestly just copy this because this is what I just put my trades on. So I just have the profited amount and the loss amount, of course, nothing, because this was a win, and also the setup reason. So the reason for this trade, like I said before, I said price gave a minor break of structure after it pulled up to a previous demand zone. I entered as it was breaking the high of the candle that tapped in the zone. And since it was fairly aggressive, I moved my stop loss below the most recent low and took a 1 to 2 risk to reward. And this will just let me get the confidence. Honestly, this is like practicing make perfect. So if I see this setup again on TradingView, I will more than likely have the confidence to go ahead and enter, because this is something that I've already seen before. I've already studied this and I know what the setups looks like. Mind you, in my opinion, I feel like trading is a lot of pattern recognition. So recognizing the same patterns, and not only recognizing those patterns, but actually executing correctly at those patterns. That's how you can turn pattern recognition into profit. Down here under the trade setup and also the reason for the trade, I have the rules that I broke. This wasn't necessarily a rule break. It was just something a little bit different than what I usually do. And as you can see, it says the only rule that I broke was entering before the candle fully closed. Even though it was strategic, I entered a bit earlier due to me wanting price to go too far and I would have to increase my risk size amount, but it was not out of impulse. So basically, to just break that down more, it wasn't an impulsive trade or a FOMO trade. It was strategic. I've taken trades like this before at break of the candle. They went well. So based off of the trades that I journaled before at break of the candle that looked similar to this, I did not mind taking this. It was not out of impulse. I was not like, oh my goodness, price is leaving. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a deal with myself. I have to find a more strategic way to manage risk. If I'm going to get in at break of the candle, I would need to move my stop loss. So realistically, if price is coming up and coming down, if price moves in a wave and price is supposed to respect lows, I don't mind putting my stop loss right there for price to respect that low. In the event that that low gets disrespected, if it gets invalid, I do not need to risk much more money to see that that low is not going to hold. So that would be my compromise on this trade, since I entered a little bit more aggressive than usual. What went wrong? I have these two things at the bottom. What went wrong? Sad face. What went wrong? Nothing went wrong, but the risk here was entering before the candle closed. A lot could have happened before it closed. Price could have flipped and reversed, etc. As you guys know, when price is a little bit more volatile, it can move a little bit quicker, of course, and price could flip. If it's like 2 minutes left or 3 minutes left, that's something that makes me kind of hesitate, because a lot of things can happen if price is ticking every second almost and you have 3 minutes left. If the candle is green now, of course, that's subject to change, especially when you're on a smaller time frame like myself, which is a 5. So that is something that's important to me. I understood the risk. I took the risk. Why? Because I've taken things like this before and I trusted it. And the same thing for your losses. The same thing. I would do the same thing here. I have an image so I can get an actual picture of the pattern that I saw, the pattern that I took, and it did not go well. What date did this happen on? This was on August 6th at 10:30 on the asset of NQ. This was basically the play, right? I had a higher time frame supply zone here, and I was waiting for price to pull back up, which it did. And as you can see, obviously we had some selling happen over here because price was able to slow this big rally down. It slowed it down. Of course, I entered and price just continued to fight its way back up. Okay, so I lost out on that one. Lost this amount, put that over there. And then, of course, the setup and the reason for the trade. My setup and my reason for this trade, I said price gave a supply zone setup that I was originally waiting for, while also giving a break of structure setup to the upside, right? While I was aware that price had broken structure, I still had planned to take my original supply and ride it back down to the demand zone in that retrace, targeting to get out before price hit a demand, which could cause a strong rejection. Of course, we have a little typo, but you know what I mean. Rules that I broke. The only rule that I can see that got broken, because I waited for my confirmation candle and I waited for an entry. I didn't get in off of impulse, didn't get in aggressive. But what I see is that basically price had broken a high. The most recent thing that happened, price had broke a high, and I still decided to take the ride down when price just showed me that it wanted to break high. So technically, for current price in the current time frame, this position was counter trend. After price made its decision to break highs, I should have waited for the demand zone to be retraced, or waited for price to push back up basically and give me another minor break of structure, because it looked like it kind of happened low key right here. That's how it'll look. And if you're a more simpler person, if you're like, okay, I don't got time to be making no smiley faces, no hearts, no sparkles, I just want to do something simple. This is for you too. We can still journal your trades like this. So this is how I would journal. This is just 2 different ways. If you're a little bit pressed for time or you just want something a little bit quicker, whatever device you use, you can probably screenshot it and then just add a quick text on it after the trade is done. So on this particular one, I said when on NQ longs, price came down to retrace a zone and validated the first zone. Best entry was when the red candle came closer to the zone. I could have went for a 1 to 2 instead of a 1 to 1. So this was my winning trade. This was just like a little snippet of that. I believe I entered somewhere up here and then I got a 1 to 1 up here. So this was, of course, after I adjusted my position tool, which is why I said I could have went for a 1 to 2 instead of a 1 to 1. And then down here, of course, this is the losing one. This is a trade that I lost. Price had a minor break of structure to the downside from a bigger time frame supply, right? It gave a supply zone, okay? Price closed bearish from the zone, which was here, okay? It always showed me, again, this kind of look a little similar to the other one. This is the older one. So if y'all notice something that's very common with the losing trades, we start to see that stair-step pattern that comes up. It's not just a simple retrace of price just shooting up. If it's breaking structure to come up, more than likely it's going to continue to break through your zone. And that's something that I have noticed as well. And that's something that's been helping me in real time. If I see a supply zone that I'm looking for or that I'm waiting for price to come back to, that will be something that's like a red flag. That will give me red flag energy, okay? Because why are we breaking highs just to retrace my zone? Because if we're breaking highs, that means that the buyers are obviously here. And if the buyers are here and I'm looking for a sale, that's not what I want, because those are 2 polar opposite things that will be conflicting each other. So if I had to look at one of these perspectives from the chart, I will look at the most recent thing that price has done, and the most recent thing, price has broken a high and shot up. So I would be kind of being flexible with my bias. So this would be an example of that. So that is pretty much it. I told y'all it was going to be quick. This is just a little simple video, a little simple snippet of what I wanted to show you guys of how to journal your trades, and just kind of bring awareness that journaling your trades is just as important as studying your strategy or doing whatever you feel is necessary to become a little bit more successful in trading. Hope this video helped somebody, and I hope that y'all start journaling y'all trades. If y'all journal y'all trades now, I want y'all to leave a comment in the comment section and just let me know your experience with that. Like, is that something that actively helped you, or is it something that you haven't really fully connected with because you maybe don't know what to put on there, or if you don't know how? Let me hear y'all. Let me hear some feedback. This is just my suggestion. This is just my little gem that I feel like may help a lot of people if you need it, because I still do this as well, and it helps me too. Because just looking at this, it's like, girl, why would you do that? Okay, so yeah, that's just my opinion. I hope this video helped somebody. Like always, wishing green days on everyone. I hope that y'all stay blessed, stay safe, and I'm going to see y'all later. Peace out. Bye.